social media.
Wonderful.
Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to walk from one elephant to another. The guys will introduce themselves and they'll introduce their babies. And I believe Mark is going to be blessing each individual or
yes, right.
group?
Individual.
Okay, so when the guys are done with the telling us about their babies, then Mark can also go ahead and bless them.
Hello everyone, my name is Kinsley. Here I'm with a baby called Mufaludi. Mufaludi means survivor. Mufaludi is from Peninsula of Okavango. It's 1 year, 4 months.
Thank you. So sometimes last year, we had a lot of elephants dying in the panhandle. We lost about 300 elephants. And it was later discovered that they were dying from the toxic cyanobacteria, which were found in the water holes. And we believe his mother may have been one of those that died. And luckily, he was reported to us well in time, and we went straight out to rescue him. And he's doing really good at the moment. He's also on the bottle, and he drinks every 3 hours. So Mark, you can go ahead.
What is his name again?
Mafalodi.
His name is Mofalodi.
Mafalodi. Okay, and he's a male, right? A male?
He's a male, yes.
All right. Okay. So we are reminded that when we bless, we impart or communicate God's power. So we pray, Mafalodi, you are created by God and you are loved by God. May you and your human companions and caregivers experience joy and companionship together and continue to be a blessing to each other and the world, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we now move on to little Sandy.
Little Sandy. How much does Sandy weigh?
Sandy now weighs about 250 kgs.
Whew.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Sandy.
Is Sandy a female?
He's a male.
A male.
My name is Zo, and here I'm with Sandy. Sandy is the youngest of the herd, about an age of 1 year, 2 months.
And Sandy did not come far away from Elephant Havens. Where we picked him up, it was about an hour, 15 minutes to an hour drive, close to a safari lodge called Gomuti River Lodge. And the night before we rescued him, he got attacked by 2 male lions. He put up a good fight and managed to survive through the night. And we rescued him the next day. And his mother was shot and killed by farmers, because in this area where we operate, there's a lot of human-elephant conflict. So elephant go into the fields or the crops, and they raid the farmers' crops, and they get upset. So sadly, his mother was shot and killed. But he was very skinny when we first rescued him. He also had a skin problem, which we had to apply coconut oil all over his body. And now he's looking good, and he is the baby of the herd. So every time when he rumbles or when he trumpets, when he screams, they all come running towards him. If he moves, they all follow him. So that's how much the rest of the herd loves him. And he got the name Sandy from the author of a book called the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. His name is Alexander McCall Smith. And, his latest book, which is called How to Raise an Elephant, Elephant Havens has been featured in that book. So we also honored him by naming this little elephant after him, because he also goes by Sandy as his nickname.
And B, didn't Sandy have a pimple on his trunk?
He had a pimple on his trunk, which is now healed. and it popped, and now he's back to normal, just like youngsters. When the teenagers, they get pimples, and elephants do as well. Okay, I think, Mark, you can now go ahead and bless our Sunday.
Good. So we remember that we read in Genesis how God said, let the earth bring forth all kinds of living creatures, cattle, creeping things, and wild animals of all kinds. And so it happened. God made all kinds of wild animals, all kinds of cattle, and all kinds of creeping things. And God saw how good it was. And so we pray, Almighty and everlasting God, let your blessing be upon Sandy. May the care offered to him mirror your love and be an example of your bountiful mercy. Give him health and peace forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Okay, we now move on to Solo Fellow.
Solo Fellow.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Asa. Over
Hi,
here,
Asa.
Hello. Over here, I'm with Solo Fellow. Solo Fellow means hope. He's 1 year, 7 months old. He's from the Panhandles of Okavango Delta.
Thank you. And he is the second baby that was rescued at Elephant Havens. He came about 14 hours drive from Elephant Havens. He stayed around a research camp for another conservation trust that operates in the Panhandle, which is called Ecoexist. They called and reported him to wildlife. That was a baby elephant roaming around their camp or around their research camp. And we were told by the Department of Wildlife, we went straight out, we monitored him for 3 days, and twice he tried to join the head of 2 different herd of elephants, and he was kicked out both times. So then we went ahead and rescued him. And the only thing that he cared about was to find something to eat. You know, usually when we rescue baby elephants, they're quite aggressive because it will be their first time to be close to humans. But with Solo, he didn't care about us being close. He only wanted to find something to eat. So that's how he got his name, which is his nickname, Mr. Food Kill Me.
B, we had a couple of questions. One is, when the ears are pinned back, is that a good sign or a bad sign? What tell us about the motion of the ears. And also somebody wants to know, what are they eating?
So first I'll start with what they're eating. These are game pellets, similar stuff we give to horses, made out of different type of roughage, hay, corn, lucerne, and molasses, which is very sweet. So it's like candies to them. They love it and they'll do anything for them, for those pellets. And when you see their ears flattened along their skin like this, that means they're cool enough, they're not stressed with the heat. And but once you see them flapping their ears back and forth, that means they're hot. So the ears act like they are body radiators. If they're hot, they'll flap their ears to cool their body temperatures down. But for a fully grown elephant, we carry about 4 liters of that in each ear. So that's a total of 8 liters in both ears. And as they flap their ears, they cool the blood and it's passed on to the other parts of the body. So those are just body radiators, as we call them.
Can Asa say a few words about what it's like to be one of the first female elephant handlers in Botswana? She's famous.
All I can say, it's a nice journey to take. Since I have learned new adventures here in Elephant Havens. At first, I didn't know anything about how elephants live or how do any part of their body operate. But now I have full information about an elephant. But for you to get to know everything, you have to be self-driven, motivated, and you have to be caring and loving so that they can give back that love to you.
Thank you, Asa.
Thank you.
Okay, I think Mark can now go ahead and bless our solo fellow.
Solo fellow.
Yes.
Hope, right? Meaning hope?
Hope, meaning hope.
Hope. We need more hope. You are created by God, Solofellow, and loved by God. May you and your human companions and caregivers truly experience joy and companionship together and continue to be a blessing to each other and the world. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Somebody wanted to know, how old are they when they're considered to be fully grown, or I guess adults?
So when, female elephants will grow up to, they get to about 35 years and they'll stop growing. But their lifespan, it's between 65 and 70. So they can live that long. And the male elephants will stop growing when they get to the age of 45.
Hmm. And how old do they have to be before they start having babies?
Female elephants will be ready to mate when they are about 8 years. They'll have their first mate, and the gestation period is about 22 months. So you're looking at about when they're about 10 years, they'll have their firstborn. But as for the male elephants, because they have to leave their original families and join a bachelor herd, so they join a group of men or of adult elephants, bull elephants. So they get dominated for a long time until they're about 26 years. That's when they can have their first mate.
Hmm. So who's next, B?
Okay, we are now moving on to Tapiso, which means promise, with K.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Kay.
Hi, Stephen. I'm Kay. This is Tapiso. Tapiso is 1 year and 4 months. Like B said, Tapiso means promise, and she comes from the North Panhandle, from a small village called Skondombo.
So she also has a very sad story behind her life. When we were called for Tapiso, we went straight out and we arrived in the area and realized that her mother and her older sibling were both shot and killed by farmers. So she was left all alone. And because she was very tiny, we didn't have to do any try to find out if there's any families out there. So we immediately picked her up and brought her home because we just didn't know how long she's been by herself. And by the time we found her, she could have been living on body fats. So we immediately rescued her and brought her home. But she was quite very aggressive. She would charge to every movement, bang her head on the gum poles, and at one point her head was swollen. So we had to bring in Mammoth to sleep with her in the same enclosure. And the next morning we had a completely different elephant. So that tells you a lot that they speak the same language. So Mammoth may have told her that these people are here to love and care for you.
Mm.
Okay, I think Mark, you can also go ahead. Her name is Tapiso, which means promise.
Promise. We have been promised love from God. And Tapiso, may this God, expressing this love, being creator of all things and giver of all life, may God's blessing be upon you, and may the care offered to you mirror God's love and be an example of God's bountiful mercy. And may God grant you health and peace forevermore. Amen.
Amen.
I think the babies like being blessed. Don't you think so, B?
They do. I mean, usually they move up and down, and today they're very calm. You know how Mammoth and the others used to ignore us every Zoom call. They walk away from the camera, but today they're all still.
I have the voice of an elephant, so we speak to one another.
Mark's channeling his inner elephant.
The elephant whisperer.
Hello everyone, my name is Eric and here I'm with Bonolo. Bonolo meaning calf, and she's 2 years, 11 months. She's come from a village called Sechenje on the peninsula of the Okavango Delta. And she got her name from her behavior when she came here.
So her name is Bonolo, and Bonolo means calm. like I mentioned earlier, that, you know, when they first arrive here, they're quite aggressive towards us because it's their first time to be close to humans. But in her case, she was very gentle to the handlers. The second day after she arrived here, she allowed us to walk into her enclosure, and she would just move to her favorite spot, which is one of the corners of her boma, and she would let the guys clean her enclosure. But one thing she wouldn't do, she wouldn't allow anyone to get behind her. You know, the reason is, you know, when these babies lose their mothers out in the wild, they eventually end up in the communities where the local folk feel threatened when they first see them. They don't realize that they're small and vulnerable and need someone to care for them. So they would often chase them with dogs and a machete to try and help them. So we believe something like that may have happened to her. And but now she's very calm and she allows us to work all around her. And you'll notice Bonolo has only one tusk. She has only this one, and she doesn't have anything on this side. So this is, you know, and we believe it's just genetics. You know, we checked to see if there's any trace of a tusk. It doesn't look like she had a tusk that she broke. So she was just born like that. You know, it's that tusks are also one of the difference between your African elephants and Asian elephants. You know, African elephants, both females and males will have tusks, but your Asian elephants, only males get to have tusks. The females, they don't, they're born without tusks. But with the African elephants, you often find elephants like Bonolo with one tusk or tuskless, which is just genetics. And Bonolo means calm. So Mark, you can also go ahead to bless our Bonolo.
All right. So the Lord said, come and see. So Bonolo, Almighty and everlasting God, creator of all things, let your blessing be upon Bonolo, and may the care offered to her mirror your love and be an example of your bountiful and endless mercy, and may she be given health and peace always. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen. Is there a question there, Stephen?
Let's see. How well can we see us all on the call, do you think? Oh, that no, there's no question that I know of.
Okay. All right. So now we move on to the famous Mammoth.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alan, and here I am with Mammoth, the famous. Our first calf we rescued, Mammoth meaning havens. She is 2 years, 8 months. Mammoth is just from Northwest.
Come, Mammoth.
Come here, like I said, she's from Northwest of our country. Mammoth meaning haven. And we do believe that she's our matron.
Okay, thank you. So, like he says, Mammoth means haven, and she is our very first orphan baby that was rescued. You know, like we mentioned earlier, that it took us about a year to convince the government of Botswana to let us do this. And when I had a call from the Director of Wildlife, which was on the 18th of December, 2018, 2 days later, I had another call that was a baby elephant roaming in the village of Skondomboro, which is in the Panhandle as well. And on the 23rd, we had brought Mammoth home. So that was 2 days before Christmas. And what a Christmas present for us she was that year. And like I mentioned a couple of times, that every time when we have an issue, either with one of the babies not doing good, Mammoth steps in to assist us. And she is a very special elephant. And I've worked with a lot of elephants myself, and I think she's just the sweetest. And Alan mentioned just now that Mammoth is the matriarch. You know, in a herd of elephants, there's always a matriarch. She's the oldest female in herd. In the bachelor herd, the oldest male will be the patriarch. So Mammoth here is patriarch because she's been here the first time and her personality is just so good for one to be a matriarch. And yeah, we're grateful that she is here and she's leading the babies that we have here.
We had a question. Do the babies stay with the same handler most of the time?
No, we actually switch on a weekly basis or every 3 days. We make sure that the guys rotate and go to a different baby. So this helps us that when one of the guys goes away, it does give us a problem, because if they stay together for a long time, they get too attached to one another. And when that person goes away, it becomes a problem for those who are left behind. They might as well just give up and die if they're too attached to one person.
Yeah. Also, somebody said Mammoth is the one that used to break into the candy shop, right?
This is her. This is Mammoth.
She still tries, Stephen.
I'm sure. Yep.
Can you show us Mammoth's mouth, B?
I
think she wants a drink.
See, she's
usually goes for a drink.
I think she wants water.
There you go.
Take up. No, hug up and hold it.
Yeah.
Good girl. So you can actually see her molars. You know, elephants have got 6 sets of molars. If they run out of their molars, then sadly they will die from starvation. So they have to take care of their molars when they feed on the ground like that. Because of the 2 tips at the end of their trunk, it helps them to pick those pellets like one at a time. And if they pick any sand, they'll grab the pellets with the 2 tips and then blow the sand out. But your Asian elephants have only 1 tip. They don't have the other tip. So they have to scoop and then try and blow the sand out. So I'll just show you what I was just talking about. When was the trunk up? Trunk up, girl. Good girl. Hold it. Good girl. So if you look at the end of Mammoth's trunk, there's this tip and then this tip, which is more like, you know, fingers to them, and it's an advantage for the African elephants. See those? And they can also be left or right-handed. You look at the muscles on the edge of the trunk. I want to stand still. These muscles here are more pronounced than on the left side of her trunk. So she uses this as this right side of the trunk as compared to this side. You also see the green colors, which is from the branches when she grazes. So Mammoth is a right-handed elephant.
Got some nice eyebrows there too.
Beautiful long eyelashes, which all women are always jealous of them. Elephants will use these eyelashes for, you know, to stop the direct sunlight into their eyes. You know, when it's windy, you know, the dust doesn't go all the way into their eyes. Good girl.
Can you tell them just about the how we know if they're stressed or happy, or if they're doing the equivalent of crying?
Yeah, I mean, you know, elephants don't cry like we do as humans. But if you look between her eye and her ear, there's this part here, which is their temporal gland or the emotional gland. So you can see that it's a little bit wet. So that was from earlier when they came running to meet you guys. So that's an excitement. They know they're getting pellets, they're getting all the candies, so they get very excited. So that's more like the tears of joy. So Mammoth knew that she's coming for pellets. But if one of the family members is not doing good, there's no well, same thing will happen, and you'll know that they're going through a stress.
B, somebody asked what our plan was. Would you share the plan, what will happen with the babies as they grow up?
Yes, the plan is to eventually release them back to their natural environment, back to the wild. So they'll stay here for about 5 years with the handlers, and then we move on to another piece of land, which Stephen mentioned earlier. which is about 800 acres of land. So that's where the transition starts, for them to learn to be independent, there'll be no human contact. They'll have to be responsible for finding the food, finding the water holes in the area, which will be fenced. And they'll stay in that area for about 4 to 5 years. For them to be independent, and then we'll then feed them with satellite collars and release them back into the wild. So even after release, they still remain a responsibility for another 10 years of monitoring and making sure that they don't go to communities, they don't go to safari camps where it can be a conflict either between the local folks or with the safari camps.
And B, I don't think people know how hairy elephants are. Can you show them Mamotsi's hair?
Absolutely. If you look at this is all hairy.
And on the head too, there's hair. Yeah.
On the head too. So because their skin is about 1 inch thick, without this hair, they wouldn't sense anything that sits on their body. So these hairs act like sensors. Even a tiny little fly or bug sitting on their body, they'll be able to feel it. That's why they're covered with hairs all over their body, not only on the head. As they grow, it gets faded away a little bit, but if you're close to them, you'll still be able to see the hair. And they'll get to rub themselves on trees, to rub themselves on termite mounds. So that's how the hair will get faded away.
Now, human beings don't usually like to have wrinkles, but in the elephant world, the more wrinkles, the better.
Yes, in elephant world, all elephants, regardless of their age, the 1-day-old baby elephant will have wrinkles, and that is because they have no sweating glands like we do as humans. So when it's hot, we sweat, but elephants don't sweat. They have to do either a swim or they will have to do a mud wallow, of which all the moist will be trapped along their wrinkles. And if they do a swim, moist will stay there, do a mud wallow and then a sand bath later. So, the sand will cover the mud on their skin, which will keep them cooler for a longer period before they can do another mud wallow.
So it's like a sunscreen.
It's like a sunscreen.
Yeah. So we need to bless Mamotsi, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am ready
with
I'm ready with a blessing, and then right after the blessing, I'm going to offer another prayer. Okay.
Okay.
And so thinking of haven, thinking of sanctuary, thinking of safety. So Mamotsi, Almighty and ever-living God, creator of all things and giver of all life, let God's blessing be upon you. May the care offered to you, Mamotsi, mirror God's love, be an example of God's bountiful mercy. Grant her health and peace forevermore. Amen.
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 I offer this prayer as we sort of find a way to just reflect on this amazing experience. Let us pray. We will all now go out into the world, love one another, cherish our animal family, protect them against abuse, neglect. Let us offer ourselves as advocates, donors, and active stewards, being reverent and mindful towards all of creation, so that all can experience God peace. And now bless all those who care for these God's creatures. May your life be made holy through this holy work. May God bless you now and always. In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you all for your amazing work.
Mark, before we go, I think there's one more surprise, B. Is that right?
Yes, there is. Yes.
Thank you, Father Mark. Oh,
Wow. Thank you so much, everybody. Mark, this has been a very, very special call, as you might imagine. B and Deborah, you tell me, I think this is the first time the babies have ever been blessed, if I'm not right, correct?
this is the first time they've ever been blessed. And I'm so thrilled. It's just been amazing. Thank you so much, Father Mark.
It's been a blessing
Father Mark,
to us.
We have Kay from the Elephant team who wants to say something to you guys.
Oh, good. Hi, Kay.
Hello. I'd like to thank you for the beautiful prayers, and we had fun having you, and you received all your blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay.
Thank you.
Wow. Wonderful. Well, for those of you that need to leave, feel free to go. I know we went over maybe just a little bit. Deborah, can you stay behind just a little bit and be just in case people have questions?
Absolutely. Thrilled.
Mark, can we hang out just a few more minutes? Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. What I'm going to do is stop the recording and we're going to stop our YouTube live. Okay. And then folks can just hang on.
Yeah. If people want to chat for a few minutes.